What is existentialism? Existentialism emphasizes the idea that you have to, in some way, choose your own values if you are to fully realize yourself as a human being. To accept the ready made values of society is inauthentic or a cop out, man. Existence precedes essence. Existentialist philosopher Jean Paul Sartre created this formulation. Sartre's idea is that first you exist and then you get an essence. You could say a meaning or purpose. You have to create it yourself, and that includes creating your own values.
Sister Christian, oh, the time has come.
Soren Kierkegaard was a Danish philosopher who lived from 1813 to 1855. He got labeled as an existentialist long after his death, so he would not have been familiar with the word existentialist. Fun fact, his last name actually means churchyard, graveyard, and he kind of had a morbid upbringing because so many of his siblings died. If you want to learn more about that, Google The Curse of Soren Kierkegaard. Now, I've given you a little bit of a definition of existentialism, but it is worth noting that Kierkegaard usually published his books under a fake name, a pseudonym. Kenny, are you going to put in the music? So we really don't know if his most famous works actually represent his views or the views of fictional characters that he has created. The title page of Sickness Unto Death, for example, attributes the writing of the work to Anticlimacus. Furthermore, the works he did not write under pseudonyms are not existentialists. They are what you might call straightforward Christianity. Who, then, is one's neighbor? The word is clearly derived from negeber, near dweller, meaning blah, 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 blah. See, the point is, this is more like what you would get in any book on standard Christian theology. Welcome to Disneyland. Please keep your hands and arms in the vehicle at all times. So now finally, we get to the existentialist part of this. Kierkegaard's three stages of life: the aesthetic life, where you live a pleasure based life. You might like art, you might like sex, drugs, rock and roll, but whatever, you're living for pleasure. You've got the ethical life, where you live to do the right thing. And then the religious life, which is faith based for Kierkegaard. So let's start with the second stage, the ethical stage. In this stage, individuals begin to recognize the importance of moral principles, societal norms, and obligations. They strive to live according to a sense of duty and responsibility, often prioritizing relationships and upholding ethical standards. And I got this off Chat GPT, so that's one bottle of water. That's not too bad, though, for this whole long presentation. I've just used one bottle of water. But this ethical stage fits pretty well with what was described in natural law theory. There are these ways you ought to live that are built into the furniture of the world, and if you live in those ways, you're living an ethical life. Kierkegaard gives the example of marriage. When you take wedding vows, you agree to live ethically. You actually, what's the word I'm looking for? You actually literally say the vows explicitly. That's the word. You explicitly say, I will live ethically. I will put the interests of another person above my own pleasure. Now, to bring it to Kierkegaard's own life, Kierkegaard was engaged to Regina Olsen in 1840. So, we're ending part one right now, but it looks as though Kierkegaard is going to live an ethical life. So we'll see how this goes in part two. Kenny, can you bring in that wedding music?